Today, we are going through our predictions for Extreme Rules this Sunday night. Come and is it Saturday night? It might be Sunday.
Saturday night.
Sunday morning.
Saturday night. It's Saturday night. I don't care. Let's go.
This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Give Me a Hall Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Give Me a Hall Yeah Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ant. Today I'm joined to my left by...
It's Dan. It's Dan from Raw.
And down below is...
Dom, that's me. I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Today we are doing our predictions for Extreme Rules. As these prediction videos normally go, we're going to do about 20 minutes at the start of the video where we go through our predictions, blast through them, and then guess what? We're just going to have a chat with you guys. So if you've got any comments, bang them up in chat and we'll discuss them. Extreme Rules. I am your WWE correspondent, Anthony. WWE prediction champion from the last time. Dan still got the belt, but I am the champion, as well as Todd Johnson being our people's champion. Let's see what is going to happen. Also, don't forget, guys, to keep an eye on our Twitter and keep an eye for the live stream. We will be doing a predictions Excel sheet. Is that what it is? Form sheet?
Excel sheet.
It's a predictions form.
We'll be doing a form. We'll be sending it out there. You can get your predictions in. Maybe you can knock Todd off his spot and become the next Hull Yeah People's Champion. Rock and roll. Dom, what's the first match you want to do?
Why do you always do this to me? Always do this to me. Like,
let's go with the good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. Who have you got, Dom, and why?
Why have you read that? Like, I've just realised I haven't put all these matches in the card because obviously Raw has created some more matches for us. So, yes, the Donnybrook match between Imperium and the Brawling Brutes. I'm going to give it to the Brawling Brutes because Imperium's got the upper hand in every other encounter that they've had. Yeah. So,
that makes
me,
a lot
it's
of
going to be
sense,
the Brawling Brutes for me.
Yeah. Dan, how about you, man?
I'm actually going the other way. I'm going Imperium because I still think they want to build Gunther. And now they've got Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. I think they're going to want to put them over
channel, by the way.
And maybe build them up to go against the Usos for the tag titles. And I don't think he can do that if they take a loss.
Interesting. I'm going with Dom here. I think the Brawling Brutes are going to win. I think that Sheamus has taken a lot of losses, and I believe he's probably going to lose on Friday to Walter. This is a way you can get his faction a win over the team without getting a pin on Walter, which is why I believe they've done it. Yeah,
and the Brawling Brutes have the advantage with the stipulation as well. So for me, it makes sense to have the Brawling Brutes go over here. Again, exactly as Anthony says, I think Walter isn't going to lose that title, and Imperium have got a bunch of wins over Ridge and Butch as well. In case you guys didn't hear, because I did it by interrupting Dan, which makes me a terrible human being, we have interviews with Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus on the channel, don't we, lads?
And Pete Dunne as well, also
known
as what's his name? Butch.
Yeah. So go check
Pete
those
Dunne.
out. WWE interview section.
Out. Very good. Next up, he's going to promote every interview we've done. Right, he's done interviews with Liv Morgan as well, Drew McIntyre. Go check them out. I've done them all for you, Dom.
I've done loads more than that, but anyway.
I know you have, mate. I know, yeah. Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's title, Liv Morgan versus El Rondo Rousey.
I'm sorry, what?
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. I'm still going to say Liv, unless they want to... we're not even close to WrestleMania season yet, are we? Are we getting close to WrestleMania season? Not yet, no. I think Liv's got a slightly longer run. The person that's going to take that title from Liv is the person that's going to take it into WrestleMania, which normally I would have said is, yeah, exactly. We've also got an interview with Charlotte Flair on the channel. Anyway, sorry. So I think Liv's got a longer run in, and I think Charlotte Flair will eventually take it from her. So that, for me, I think Liv is getting the win here by hook or by crook. I don't believe that she'll necessarily win with a clean pin. I think she's been winning by nefarious means as Liv Morgan recently. So I think it'll be a cheat to win situation, and Liv Morgan will win.
The thing is, it's an Extreme Rules match, and I agree with you. I think nefarious situations can happen. What will probably happen is Liv Morgan will cry that many tears in the ring because she's the weakest champion they've had for a long time. She'll probably drown Ronda Rousey.
Liv Morgan's the people's champion.
Liv Morgan, what, the people's champion that goes in and just cries? What is going on? She's the weakest booked champion that they've had in years, which is why Liv Morgan's winning this match. If they were going to do it to Ronda Rousey, they would have done it at some point. They haven't done it. What have you done?
I'm just trying to change the thing so we. Hang
it's
on.
there. Leave it be, boy.
I've done it.
Anyway, Liv versus. You are so
I've done
annoying.
it.
No, it's rubbish. I hate that. It's halfway across your face.
I've also spelled Ronda wrong.
Yes, you.
There you go. Leave it alone then.
Why do you touch stuff? Why do you anyway?
Wait,
right.
No, I haven't.
Liv Morgan is winning this championship. She's carrying on. I don't think Ronda's the person that's taking it off her. I think Charlotte Flair is. I don't think that Charlotte Flair's returning in Extreme Rules either. But we'll talk about that a little bit further on. Dan, what have you got and why?
I think, I don't want to say it, but I kind of agree with Dom. I think Liv is going to be retaining it for a bit longer. I don't know. I think Charlotte will return at Survivor Series, build up the storyline for a Royal Rumble match against Liv Morgan and take the title off of there. So I've got Liv Morgan at least holding until Royal Rumble.
Yeah, agreed.
That's good. I mean, you could actually do something with Shayna Baszler here as well. You could do Shayna Baszler turning on Ronda to give Liv the ring and then move on to Ronda and Shayna. I think it'd be interesting. Yeah. We'll see. Let's go with the other women's match on the card then. Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Who have you got and why?
You go first, Dan. I'll change the banner.
You don't need to.
What?
It's already up. Look at the bottom of the screen. I pre-prepped because I was early. I pre-prepped. Anyway, Dan, talk us through it, mate.
I'm going Bianca Belair. I think that she needs to hold the title until at least WrestleMania to make it feel like a very good, legitimate title reign as a babyface.
Interesting.
If anything does happen, I think that she will turn heel before losing the title. And then a new face comes in and takes the title off her at WrestleMania.
Interesting stuff, guys. We will get to all your comments in a second, but please do. What is going on, Dom? Dom, what's your predictions? Stop messing about. What's your predictions? Look, you can't even see your face now, man. Just move to the other side of the screen, please. Move that way. No, the other way. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, talk over that way.
My prediction is... I'm not. You're right. You are right. My prediction is Bianca Belair because she's not had a strong enough run, really, and Bayley is the first credible challenger. And also, if you look at a similar booking to the Brawling Brutes and Imperium, if you look at the wins and losses and the domination that Damage Control have had over the three, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss, Damage Control very much in control of that. So for me, this goes to Bianca purely on previous booking, which has had Damage Control in complete, just completely wiping the floor with Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. So for me, it is Bianca retaining. But it would be a good time for Bayley to win if she was going to. But I still think Bianca's retaining.
I think this is going to Bayley here, gentlemen. I think Damage Control have been really strong since they came into WWE at SummerSlam. I think giving it to Bayley is the right time to do it. I think she's on a sort of upward momentum swing. I think Bianca's a great chasing champion, and having her go into WrestleMania as that chasing champion is always a good story. I also think we're probably going to get Bianca and probably Charlotte Flair at Mania this year as well. I don't know how they're doing it. They're probably maybe do some sort of swap. But that's one of the 4 horsewomen that she hadn't faced, isn't it, so far at Mania? So I do think that this is actually the right time to do it. And I think if you're going to do one title change at this show, I think that would be a good one to do. So for me, it's Bayley who is walking out champion. Let's go to the next match, a match that we've seen a couple of times now, build from SummerSlam, and yeah, been really good matches. I'm really looking forward to this one. We've got Matt Riddle versus Mr. Rollins himself, Seth Rollins, Mr. Lynch, one might say as well, because we all know who's the man in that. We all know who's the man in that relationship.
The man's man.
She's
if
the
you want
man.
to go that way.
Yes,
She's the man.
indeed. Dan, your thoughts first, please, mate.
I was kind of excited about this match to start with, and then they introduced Daniel Cormier as a special guest referee from the UFC. Two separate weight world champion in the UFC, knows what a cage fight is meant to be like, and in my eyes, you'll give this to Riddle. You'll give this to the babyface overcoming the odds, because Seth just keeps getting the upper hand. But on the main event stage, on the premium live event, I'm going straight to Riddle because he's got the experience in the match.
Very good.
Interesting. Do you want to go first, Anthony?
I don't mind. Yeah, I'm going to say Riddle as well. I think having him as the special guest referee makes sense with Riddle's UFC background, as well as the fact that this is going to be more than likely a best of 3 with Seth winning at Clash at the Castle, Riddle winning here, and then I assume the blow-off will be at Crown Jewel, where I think Seth will get the ring because I think they've got to build him for Roman to do the 10-year anniversary of the Shield coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to do Roman and Seth for that. So Seth needs to win the eventual feud, which is why you give Riddle the win at this point, in my opinion. Dom?
Interesting. The only concern I have is that Seth's taken quite a few losses recently. I'm also saying Riddle for the reasons that you've said. Also, Riddle has lost both previous Fight Pit matches he's been in. He has been in 2, and he's lost both. So I think that they're gearing him up for a win here and a triumphant win over Seth. However, are you guys not at all concerned that Seth's been losing quite a lot recently?
He won the last match.
Big matches.
He won the Clash at the Castle match. So in terms of people that only watch pay-per-views like me who can't stand to watch 3 hours of Raw, it doesn't look like he's been losing much, whether he has on TV or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. For me, Seth is over as a character, so sometimes as a character you can still afford to take losses but still keep that level of character work and that level of overness with the fans, even with a lot of losses on your record.
Yeah, I don't think Riddle needs. So I don't think Seth needs the win. I think Riddle needs it more to legitimize him as an upper mid card star. I mean, he already is, and I guess with Daniel Cormier there, it works in Riddle's favor as well. I think, again, there's a lot of really good booking here in terms of gimmick matches, and we've not seen that from WWE in a while. And I think this makes loads of sense to have the Fight Pit return and have it almost become Riddle's gimmick match, maybe after this, where he brings it out for special things like a Hell in a Cell. But he has to win here in order for that to happen because, again, he lost to. I don't know if it was 2, but he certainly lost to Timothy Thatcher. Was the last Thatcher he lost to. So I think for me, Riddle makes the most sense. But again, you guys are probably right. Seth doesn't need the win to look like a top star, whereas Riddle does.
Well, also if you have Seth win, you don't have to have the 3rd match because Seth won twice. So which leaves you for Crown Jewel, which is the sort of throwaway pay-per-view in many respects in Saudi Arabia. It has been a lot of the times in the past. So I think the storyline makes sense to carry that on till then and just bash that one out.
Totally. Yeah, no, like that.
Cool. Guys, a quick question. What do you think is going to be the main event? Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross or Edge versus Finn Balor?
Edge versus Finn.
That's the bigger match, isn't it? But where's
it
the
is.
Fiend
I was thinking that's a very good question, Anthony. Yeah.
Where's the Fiend returning?
Can we let's leave that till after the matches.
The issue is, right, because I think the Fiend's got more chance of turning up in the Karrion Kross Drew McIntyre match based on, in terms of the storytelling of Karrion Kross at 9:23 on that Friday, saying that something like we this is what we wanted or something like that. So they've built up that, but the issue is if you put on that match next and Bray Wyatt returns during that match, nobody is going to care about the main event at all.
No, it has to be afterwards. I think it has to, and I don't think we're getting a Bray return. I don't think we're getting a physical return. I think we're getting a end of credits, movie post-credit scene type thing. Yeah, I think it's going to be at the very end of the pay-per-view, and I think it's going to lead us to Black. I think it's going to lead us to the end. I think we're going to see. I don't think Bray Wyatt is necessarily going to be tied to anything yet.
Interesting.
It could be Kross in the future, could be Balor in the future, but of course Balor is running very strongly with the. Who'd have thought we'd have been saying this, Dan? Balor and the Judgment Day are over, very very much over at the moment, and I think that if you have him in anything with Bray Wyatt, that diminishes the Judgment Day, and I also think Karrion Kross. I think Karrion Kross would be diminished. He's brand new, returned. If you put him in with Bray Wyatt now, I think it's a terrible thing. The only thing I could do to tie Bray in with this, the only person I would tie him in with, it would be Edge. But
Edge is perfect.
There's zero history between them. The only other person you would think is Seth, because Seth's talked about wanting to redo the Fiend feud, and obviously they do have history.
I think so. Get him in another Hell in a Cell.
But then why would you put You're right. Unless Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins is the main event,
it doesn't feel like the main event, does it?
I can't see that. Yeah, I can't see that happening. So I think it's going to be.
That's why I asked the question now. I think because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. So
I think it's going to be. Sorry. Obviously, this is like a big deal for me.
I brought up the name. Don't worry.
It's a big deal for me. I'm so excited.
Let's go with the first match. Let's do Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross.
Hang on. Wait a minute. I'm not done. Right. I think that it has to be completely separate to anything in the matches. Any gimmicks, I think Bray Wyatt has to be separate to these matches. So
we will talk about Bray Wyatt in a bit. We will let you loose. We will get in your head, Dom, and find out everything about Bray Wyatt.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I have been this excited about anything in wrestling since Mick Foley won the title on that Raw, which is my favorite wrestling moment of all time. This has been the most like fanish I've been since we started this podcast, man.
Yes, we gather. Yeah. We see the pre-com. Can we talk about the match now? Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross.
I'm so excited.
Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Who have you got? Dan, give him a second to shut up. Like, no one wants to hear your voice anymore.
We're wanting to have a breather.
Okay, go on.
I think that Drew is going to win this, which will annoy me because I think that Karrion Kross should get the win. Drew, realistically, we think should have probably won the title in Cardiff, but I think that this, we know, but we think. I think that Drew needs the big win here. Karrion Kross is still new, so he can still build his aura in the future to be the main event guy that I think Triple H thinks he should be.
What, Kross or Drew? Sorry.
Drew wins, but Karrion Kross is still going to be built up to be that main event guy in the future.
The thing is, I want Drew to be that main event guy, but I think the only way he'll do it now is if he turns heel and has a character change.
Well, he is the main event guy. You can put him in the main event anyway.
Yeah, you can put him in the main event, but will he win it? I mean, he should have won. Like I said, as at Extreme Rules in the media, we were all positioned to think that Drew was going to win. He was doing all the charity stuff backstage and all the stuff we showed up at, and he was there talking to everybody, and it should have been Drew. I genuinely think it should have been Drew. But here we are, and unfortunately, you can't have Karrion Kross come in. This is why as fantasy booking as people are doing, as much fantasy booking as people are doing with Bray and Karrion Kross, You can't put Bray Wyatt with Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross would be overshadowed by Bray. He's not going to be overshadowed by Drew. He needs to win this match, Karrion Kross, and then go on to become, as Dan says, a main eventer, because he's not established yet as a main eventer in the WWE. He was in NXT, and then he failed completely flat when he became, Gimp Security or Gimp,
Demolition.
Gimp Gladiator in the WWE. So he's still not a main eventer. Drew, like Seth, isn't necessarily hurt by a loss here. I think it could be a trigger for a gimmick change for Drew, and a heel turn for which I think would be welcome at this point. But I think, Karrion Kross has to win this for me to be legitimized as a main event star.
I think Karrion Kross is going to win. I don't think you can have him lose his first match back. If not, it really diminishes his character.
It's not his first match back.
Who did he have a match with?
He's had matches on SmackDown, like just squash matches.
Oh, has he? Right. Okay. First big match. First big match. So you can't have him lose this. He needs to get the win here, I think. And the other thing with him, in terms of main event, I never really liked Karrion Kross. I went right off NXT. I don't think he's a main eventer. I think he's just higher mid card, which I think is fine. I think you need a place for that. And here's another little prediction. I think he's going to win from some sort of blackout or something nefarious, which is going to be a WWE's way of making us think that's what we're going to get for the Bray Wyatt debut. I think they're going to do something here which makes you think, oh, was that it? And then actually reveal a lot more during the main event.
Okay, interesting.
Cool. Let's talk about what we think is the main event, the I Quit match between Edge and Balor of Finn.
Dan, first. Come
on. I'm gonna go first on this one. He ain't gone first yet.
No worries. I don't mind going first. I think Finn's going to win this. I think the I Quit match stipulation absolutely runs into getting Finn the win, whilst it would be bad for the babyface to just say, I quit naturally. I think Finn will do something where he will have potentially Beth Phoenix on the outside, held by Rhea Ripley.
Nice,
Rey
that's
Mysterio
good.
held on the outside by Dominic Mysterio, and making Edge choose which one he wants to lose, putting them in a precarious
Beautiful
position.
Booking,
and
Anthony.
Edge having to say, I quit to save the two of them.
I think I just jizzed. That might be the best booking you've ever done.
That makes sense in terms of everything to me. That's
great.
How I see it going. You give Finn Balor the big win here, and we'll talk about it later. But I think that Edge and Bray Wyatt will have some sort of face off here. But let's go with you, Dan.
I was picking Edge to win, but based on that, I think that what I will say doesn't matter how good that booking is. I was going to put Edge on my predictions. I think that it could be built further down the line, so them two will go up against each other at Hell in a Cell at Crown Jewel, and I think that's where I was picturing it going. But with that sort of booking, I'm happy to throw the title at you. I'm happy. Are
you saying Edge or Finn? Are you just swapping your mind?
I'm still saying Edge.
Hang on. Why am I not included in this conversation? I've still got a chance to win that belt. Just because I've not won it yet doesn't mean that I'm not going to win it this time.
It actually depends on who your answer is right now to who you predict is winning this match. Finn. Yes, you're not winning that belt because we have said the exact same predictions, which is on tie. Stays to the remaining title holder, which is me. You have no chance of winning.
No, but what if we default? What if we default to like AJ Styles joining the Judgment Day or something like that? Because that could happen.
Sorry, what?
You've not been watching Raw, have you? Dan, would you like to fill Anthony in on what's
No, I'm on about what you want about default. We've predicted exactly the same. I mean, we can have a tiebreakers at the end. Fine.
Let's have a tiebreaker. Because I want an opportunity to win that title.
You have the opportunity, but if it ends in a no contest, the champion retains.
That's what we've done in the past. So you can change any predictions if you want.
Hang on. How can an I quit match? How can I quit match end in no context? How can any of these matches?
No,
end
the
in a no
championship ends in a no contest.
The predictions end in a no contest if you and Anthony pick exactly the same all the way through.
Fought me and Dan Drew in one
Which we
pay-per-view,
have,
and he kept
which
the
we have.
belt.
No, but I want a tiebreaker.
But you picked. So you picked.
Let's put it
No,
on.
you can't.
No.
You picked exactly.
Hey,
Change one of your matches.
you guys
then.
have been champions before. You guys, like Anthony, you've been you're a 2-time champion. Dan's a 1-time champion. Put the belt on the line. Give me
The
something.
belt is on the line.
What?
The belt is on the
but
line.
I can't. Yeah, but if I guess the same as you, which I have, I've guessed exactly the same as you. There's no chance of me winning. So I'm asking you to put it on the I'm asking you to
Okay,
give me
all right.
something.
I'll make the tiebreaker just in case it does end up Dan. Sorry, Dan might just win it. Just play the predictions. Tiebreaker. Are we seeing a physical representation of Bray Wyatt in some form? I say yes, and you said no earlier.
I say no.
Right, there we go.
There we go.
Physical,
it's on
you
record.
mean in the arena? Do you mean in the arena, or like we might see him on screen? I don't think we're going to see him in the arena.
Does a video package count?
Yeah,
that's a grey area.
Not as a physical representation. No, I think physical representation is in the arena, physically.
Okay, I say yeah, he's in the arena. Cool. We'll just say
you
that.
say he's in the arena. I say on the screen.
Video
I
package.
say a representation of Bray. So that is so if he is on the screen but not in the arena, I could win the belt. Awesome, good. We've all got an opportunity to win. Excellent. That's what I want.
Just to clarify our results, as you all know, mine and Dom's are exactly the same. So we'll just compare them to Dan's. We've said the Brawling Brutes. Dan has said Imperium. All of us have chosen Liv Morgan. No, we don't need that stipulation. Sorry, there is one match. It's all on one match, Dom, between me and you. You two have both said Bianca is remaining the champion. I have said Bailey. Riddle, we all said. Me and Dom said Karrion Kross is winning that match, and Dan says Drew. And for the final match, me and Dom have Finn Balor, and Dan has Edge. So we can get rid of that stipulation.
Wait. So the difference is that you said Bailey
winning.
and we
said Bianca. Cool. So all done there. Rock and roll. Dan, Bray Wyatt. So let's talk a little bit about Bray Wyatt because everyone wants to, and then we'll get to some of these guys' comments.
I also.
Oops.
Oh, he's muted himself.
Mute me. No, you muted me.
I didn't.
You wanker. Anyway, right. Can we just have a moment to say, because a very real bit of storyline, like I just mentioned, Dan, from Raw, which you've been covering very well, by the way, and thank you very much for your efforts covering Raw last few weeks, is the potential of AJ Styles joining the Judgment Day. How likely, as you've been watching it live, do you think that is? Because you've been teasing it quite heavily. Could we see that this week?
They've been teasing it, but I think that after last night's Monday Night Raw, AJ, after the beatdown from Finn Balor, is going to be the next feud after Edge.
Right.
Edge... I don't know what's happening with them two, but after that match has ended, I think we're going to get AJ Styles versus Finn Balor in a feud.
I like that. We did see him push down Rey Mysterio. I'm right, aren't I? AJ Styles pushed down Rey Mysterio. So I think they're going to do a Daniel Bryan Wyatt family, and there's a couple of other instances of this where AJ Styles says he's joining the Judgment Day. And then on Raw or something, so for a week we think that he's joining the Judgment Day and he's a member of the Judgment Day. He comes out and then he turns on Finn, just as Finn turned on Edge. So I think we will get an AJ Styles joining the Judgment Day for a period of time of 1 week or 2 weeks or something, just as those other examples. Daniel Bryan did it with the Wyatt family, and there's been loads of examples through history.
Randy Orton's done it.
Randy Orton did it, with the Wyatt family as well. So I think AJ Styles will join the Judgment Day potentially at
I don't know that
Extreme
it
Rules.
will. I'll give you a numbers reason why I don't think that'll work. Because if you have AJ Styles during the Judgment Day, how many people is in that faction?
5.
And how many times have they ever done a 5-person faction?
I said for a period of time.
Yeah, I know what you said, but even for a period of time. when have they ever done a five person faction? The examples you just gave of
Generation X, second generation, Triple H, X-Pac, China, and the New Age Outlaws.
Okay, good. One example.
I think for a period of time, for a short period of time, it would work to swerve, and it would also play into the fact that that's, of course, what Finn did to Edge. And I think AJ Styles is he's good at mind games in that way. So I think we could get
Earth's flat. So
what? Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with the storyline or what we're going to see.
Oh, he's been around the world. Cool. Yeah, cool.
Sorry,
Anything else?
Bray Wyatt.
You want to talk Bray Wyatt? Cool. Yeah. So
earlier.
Well,
What?
yeah, it sort of went off earlier.
No,
So yeah, I think he's coming back to. Sorry, go on.
No, I'll let you guys go first. Go on.
I was, but then you. I think he's coming back. I think putting him in a feud with Edge makes a lot of sense right now. If Edge is looking at doing a 1 year until the end of his time in WWE, you want to see Edge and Bray Wyatt in some sort of form. Bray Wyatt will Edge will absolutely play up to the theatrics of a Wyatt thing really nicely. I actually think it's a main event guy that I think really sort of establishes Wyatt's new character, who doesn't get hurt if he takes a loss. So that's why the first person I'd have him feud with would be Edge.
There's zero history though.
You don't need history.
There doesn't need to be for a new character.
You need to establish.
Yeah, for the new character. Yeah, I suppose if they're going with a new character, yes. I think I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking Finn stuff, but you don't want to. You need to establish a new character, and Edge in a storyline with Edge, you can really establish that new character. That's why all this talk of factions and stuff, I think, is. I actually think Karrion Kross could be in another faction, and who's going to be the new woman with Bray Wyatt and stuff like this. I don't think it. I think that's bad for everyone.
Yeah,
I think you what you want to see is Bray Wyatt establish himself, and then you can start incorporating them elements into it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the best way that they could do this, the return of Bray Wyatt, is to go back to a gimmick as
cult leader.
No, with Three Faces of Foley. I think that's the way to do it. I think he brings out the Fiend occasionally. Come on, man! Like the Three Faces of Foley was amazing.
Yes,
Three Faces of Foley, yes, because each character had its own definition.
Yeah, but
Bray Wyatt's characters are very similarly linked, and the two close to would need to be completely separate.
Mankind and Cactus Jack weren't that different.
They were. Mankind was a reclusive that hung out in a boiler room shaking his head. Cactus Jack was a confident ass kicker who come out with a baseball bat and barbed wire. And do I mean, one of my whole problems with the Fiend gimmick in general was that actually the only interesting part of that for me was the Funhouse Bray. The Fiend gimmick never had the explanation that it needed to have in terms of its relationship to Funhouse Bray. And so actually I kind of don't want to see him do that again. I don't want to see him do two different characters within the same thing. If you want to argue, you've already had the Two Faces of Foley in Funhouse Bray and the Fiend. How about just having a character who's got this affiliation with the White Rabbit and create something like that?
Interesting. Okay, well, I see your point. So let me, you guys aren't necessarily big fans to the level that I am of Bray. So I'm very interested now to give you guys the floor. If you want to start with Anthony and then go to Dan, how, in an ideal world, how would you book this? What would you want to see individually for a Bray Wyatt return?
Well, I kind of just wanted to see Funhouse. If you watch a video on our channel from a long time ago, I did a how do you book Bray Wyatt going forward? And one of the things I said was about a guy who goes out giving ice creams to people. It was basically Funhouse Bray is what I said. This was before that had even become a thing. The stuff with the Fiend didn't work for me because it always disappointed in the matches and in terms of the payoff didn't pay off. It's one of Wyatt's biggest issues. The payoffs don't pay off. In terms of the build is incredible, and I fear it's going to be the same again. I tell you what, I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for Bray Wyatt as a performer, i.e., wrestler, without the sort of chains of previous management, and seeing if he will update his moveset, if he will get rid of the goofy sort of neck breaks and stuff like this, which never worked for me. And I'd love to see him sort of wrestle more and really sort of create these great matches which live up to the hype of the feuds that he's building, is what I'd like to see. Dan.
Yeah, okay. All right. Dan, sorry, Anthony, did you finish there? I apologize for...
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's all right.
You off. Dan, your thoughts then?
For me, I've watched Bray Wyatt as cult leader in NXT. I've watched him on the main roster. I've watched Funhouse Bray and The Fiend. The guy can wrestle. Why not just give him a solid wrestling-based character? He's able to put on a great storytelling match. He can create as much lore as he wants, but if you have the lore, like what happened with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, the lore ends in a loss, you lose the mystique. That is why I actually think the dual split personality of Finn Balor and the Demon was a better showing of a split character.
It wasn't used all the time as well.
Yeah,
No, it was used sparingly to build, and it had a purpose. It brought out a darker side of himself, a more vicious moveset, a more angry side to himself in the ring. And I think if they are going to do a split personality, that is the better way to do it. Just bringing him back. Yeah.
Go on, Dan. I apologize. Go on.
No, okay. Just bringing him back as Funhouse Bray, people are going to want the Fiend. Bringing him back as the Fiend, people are going to want Funhouse Bray or cult leader gimmick. And I think that he's got to do everything from scratch.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, there was a couple of moments there I noticed, Anthony, you look like you were disagreeing with Dan when it comes to the sort of wrestling side of things. Now
I haven't seen a good Bray Wyatt match. Like, people bring out the Daniel Bryan strap match, which I think is the best match I've seen him in, but he was wrestling Daniel Bryan, who can wrestle a paper bag and have an outstanding match. His moveset was too limited in the ring in terms of, and I'm not necessarily saying that's because of him. He can tell a wonderful story in a match. I get that. But his moveset was that limited in the ring. It eliminated that final sort of excitement for the end. He had some unique moves, the Sister Abigail, but like the whole doing a crab and then everyone actually freaked out by it. I don't know. It gets so repetitive, man. I really wanted Bray Wyatt to be in New Japan and freaking go, get him wrestling and really sort of develop that style. I'm not saying he can't do it. He's a wonderful performer, and the stuff that he does is really good, but it's way too limited, man. And I'm hoping with Triple H in charge, he will help him expand his move base to really create some excitement in the matches. I don't just want to write down what the match is before watching it, because then I'm not going to be excited for it.
Interesting. Yeah. It's some really good points there, guys. I'm quite curious because I do know from both of you and listening to both of you talk that these White Rabbit teases, which we haven't really touched on, is it going to live up to the hype? And what have you thought about this sort of viral campaign, which looks to be Bray Wyatt? I think we can all agree that it probably is. People have said, Karrion Kross. People have said different names. People have even rumored that it was supposed to be Malachi Black returning before it was confirmed that he had not actually left AEW. So how do you feel about, because Anthony, you've not been watching the programs live, Dan, you have, but Anthony, you still know about the QR code, which is a testament. I think this is the most inventive WWE have been in a long time. What do you think it can live up to the hype, whether it's Extreme Rules or beyond that? And do you think it is related to Bray Wyatt?
I mean, it depends what your hype is about it. I'm excited to see someone come back and develop stories that Bray does. I'm always excited when Bray Wyatt is on TV. It just ends up disappointing me. That's my issue with Bray. In terms of the build up to it, I think it's great. I think any sort of transmedia narrative that engages your fans and causes a stir on Twitter. I think that the issue, the only sad part of it is that people aren't people don't do it themselves anymore because of the internet. So, have any of you paused Raw on the still to get the QR code? The answer is probably not, because what you've actually done is watched the feedback from Twitter, and then so people like discover stuff and then reveal it to everyone else, as opposed to what I think is really good is where you actually give people something to do themselves. So that would be my only sort of criticism of it. But hand out at the shows a puzzle for people to solve, as opposed to so that more people gain from it. And that's one of the problems with the internet, with the sort of spoilers. Sorry, Dan, you were saying, mate.
No, it's fine. At some of the live shows I've done recently, after the match, if you've been parked anywhere near the arena, they've been putting stuff on people's windscreens under the wipers to try and generate that sort of buzz. Last night, watching Monday Night Raw, me and one of the people that was watching with us live, ZJI, we got one of the QR codes, and on the commercial breaks, we was actually working through what was being teased.
Good.
So
that's good to hear.
I literally took a photo of one of the sections. So when we got one of the QR codes, it loaded up a Renaissance style photo, a black section, and then a section underneath it with it was a messed up picture. Once we'd sort of got through some of the decoding on there, we found Predator language and Predator symbols.
Cool. Yeah.
Once we'd decoded the Predator symbols, I actually took a photo of what we actually wrote. So the Predator language was translated by ZJI, who did some absolutely fantastic work while I was doing the sort of live stream. And he said, "Before me, things were created none, save things. Eternal and eternal I endure. Abandon all hope, ye who enter." So if you take that last line, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter," change the last word to exit, that was on the Funhouse door.
It was.
Okay. So it is a direct, pretty much tease to Bray Wyatt. In the actual hyperlink itself, that from the QR code, the hyperlink itself was www.com, and then there was a load of zeros and ones as binary, that if you translated it from binary into English, it came up with the word Gacy. The word Gacy could have been Joe Gacy from NXT, who has also had a very similar sort of gimmick to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
It's also could be a reference to John Wayne Gacy, who was known as the Killer Clown, which obviously Bray Wyatt had the Fiend persona, which was very Killer Clown-esque.
Exactly. He was the clown of the serial killers, and Bray Wyatt is the clown of wrestling. I agree. I think you've cracked it.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
We did last night while watching Monday Night Raw on the commercial breaks. So big props, big shout out to ZJI, who was watching it live with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Helping us.
Yeah, I love that. I'm aware we're running through time. I've got one question for you, Dan, very quickly, and one question for both of you before we finish up. Just because, again, this seems to be captivating you, Anthony, who is not at all a fan or hasn't been a fan of Bray. And Dan, as someone that has to watch 3 hours of Raw every week, we don't have to, but we appreciate when you do. Has it made Raw and the 3 hours of Raw more bearable for you, waiting for this stuff?
It's not made it more bearable. Last night wasn't the best paced show, in all honesty. So having that to do on the commercial break side of things, in between doing comments and the polls, it made it more interesting and it made it more of an enjoyable show, because I was thinking we was back and forth with questions and could it be this, could it be that, could it be the other? And it really made a 3 hour show at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time enjoyable. Last week was a better put together show. It was a lot better paced, so I didn't really get much time to look at QR codes. But if I didn't get time, I was doing it after the show itself.
Yeah.
So normally we finish Raw about 4 o'clock, 4:05 in the UK.
Yeah.
And last week I was up until about 5:30 trying to decode a few bits, trying to find bits on Twitter. But last night, because it wasn't the best show, we managed to do it while on the stream itself.
I think it's fair to say that Dan's gone down the rabbit hole.
I do think that we do need to. I'm sorry, because I know we'll go back and refresh and we'll do the comments. But I also think, again, because we're less than a week away from these clues and ending. These viral campaign ending. Now, my concern and what I'm going to ask you is whether you both think these teases and things can/will continue, or do you think this is it? And do you think we won't see it again? And do you think this sort of hype that Bray Wyatt / the White Rabbit campaign that's been generated, do you think that it's over now and that's it, and then we're never going to see anything like it again? And that's because again, the problem is you've built this wonderful campaign, and then when Bray shows up, great, Bray's back, awesome. But do you think there's a space for things like that in whether that's with Bray Wyatt or with a completely different character? Do you think they'll continue to use these types of teases now?
I don't necessarily think Bray QR codes, but Bray always in his work, and part of what has made him engaging character, especially for the internet community that we have these days, he's always had stuff in the background. He's always had images that have had people, whether it be a burning house that we think is Abigail, whether we think Bray has always had these sort of fan campaigns that people go in, so it's not changing. My issue with the Fiend stuff, especially if you remember the video you did about Liv Morgan coming in as Sister Abigail, which you had absolute validity in suggesting based on a lot of the clues that you've been given that you'd really sort of researched into, and I thought was giving a great thing, ended up not paying off. And that's because WWE were throwing red herrings. And do you know when 24 got really bad, right? The TV show 24, when you knew that Jack Bauer was just going to get out of the situation at the end of the next episode and they were just putting it into that situation to thingy. When they start throwing what is like a false finish, I guess, within that thing, it ends up not working. It ends up being a mess. So I don't think they'll do that. I think with Triple H under control, I think it will have a linear narrative, hopefully. Dan?
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you have the payoff on Saturday with the Bray Wyatt return, with whatever character he's doing, there's no need for that sort of campaign to happen again unless you have something like that to tease again. But if you are going to rehash the same thing, people will get bored of it. People won't really be as engaged anymore. And that is what Triple H is trying to do. The engagement levels on Twitter go through the roof about 15 minutes, 20 minutes after you see a QR code. So when you've got that level of engagement, obviously they're going to want to rehash it because it worked for them. But whether it is as successful with a completely different character, it remains to be seen. But in my eyes, it won't be.
Yeah, interesting points, guys. Obviously, there's a lot more we could go into, but we do have comments to get to.
Do you want to see it carry on?
I'm not used to these questions coming back on me. I was more interested in your viewpoints because obviously you guys aren't,
I want to hear your viewpoint. Do you want to
I would like, I think I agree with both of you. I think that it would be nice to see elements of this in future storylines, where appropriate, little Easter eggs to maybe characters, maybe little teases that people have to, that have to go into about history of characters, maybe that he's feuding with, maybe Bray, maybe he does them for people that he's feuding with, and we have to delve deep into the history.
Bray's always done that
character, and I think I would like to see it done sparingly, like anything. I think absolutely when the time calls for it, a big viral QR code session for like a big feud that he's going into in a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania, leading into that, having people dig for little hints as to what match they're going to have or what what history there is, or even if they were going to reform a Wyatt family before the Wyatt family was to reform, clues as to who he was planning to bring in, little images flashing up or, QR codes, like that. So I think, I'd like to see it continue with Bray using it sparingly. I think that if they were to do the same thing with another character in the next 5 years, it would be called, lazy. So I think, certainly WWE bring things back, quite often. So I think in 10 years' time, we could see the exact same campaign for a new talent. It would be fine. But I think certainly the QR code and the White Rabbit thing should, could be tied into Bray's character now and going forward. And they should bring it in sparingly, to promote a feud or to promote a new character joining his family or something like that, I would say.
Yeah, I think that sort of fan engagement is always important in wrestling. And the nice thing that we've seen with this campaign, which has been excellent, has been them using new forms of media to create a transmedia narrative, which becomes more than just a TV show. I should write a dissertation on this. So
I'd read that.
Yeah. So I think it is very good, and I think it will carry on just in different ways. I think just a QR code isn't necessarily. It's a bit obvious. Actually, I think the QR code is the laziest part of it, because the QR code isn't a way of getting your audience. It gets your audience into the rabbit hole, but it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the character. Maybe, and here's where the flaws already start to show. When the White Rabbit turns up, was it him that was leaving QR codes because he was wanting? I mean, what is his character? Is he going to be a computer nerd who can create QR codes on the? Because that works for a computer nerd, but it doesn't necessarily work for a spooky rabbit.
Undead monster.
I'd quite, I think maybe if they were like a Riddler type thing, if they were going to do
Riddler type thing would work potentially, but then where's the White Rabbit come into that as well?
Well, the White Rabbit is traditionally mysterious, isn't it? It's traditionally, sort of as a character in fairy tale storybooks, it's been involved with clues or riddles.
What fairy tale involves someone creating QR codes to lead their audience down this rabbit hole?
But it's a modern take on it. It's a modern take on Alice in Wonderland, isn't it?
Maybe, but then I personally don't think the character, when we see the character, and I may be wrong, but when we see the character, I don't think we're going to go, oh, that character would have been sat at his computer leaving QR codes behind Alexa Bliss. And maybe there's an issue. There's a first issue already.
Well, that's all I want to see. All I want to see for the next 6 months to a year is us debating enthusiastically or not. I want it to inspire conversation. And to be fair, Bray Wyatt has always inspired conversation between me and Anthony, particularly. But I think all three of us being interested, whether it's positively or negatively invested in Bray, I think that's all we can hope for. I think a lot of people are going to hate it, because naturally that will happen, and a lot of people won't. But I was speaking to Joe Hendry yesterday, who's just signed for Impact Wrestling. There's an interview on Soundsphere magazine if you want to check that out. But his new sort of gimmick and character is this guy who, is this motivational guy who, goes into people's, there's a gimmick where he's going into the hospital and somebody's dad is dying. And he makes the guy, he makes everybody dance in the hospital. And then he goes into somebody's meeting about how the finances are going to be distributed, this dead person's finances. And there's a big argument. But then Joe Hendry shows up and everybody starts dancing. And this idea of motivational Joe Hendry. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we were talking about, people are going to, he said, people are going to hate it. Some people aren't going to get it. Some people aren't going to get British humor in America. Some people aren't going to get what I do. And some people are. But the idea is if you're not being hated, then you're not doing a good enough job in this industry. If you are disliked, then you are inspiring conversation. And I quite like that, because I'd never thought about that before. He was just like, I'm glad people aren't liking my stuff, because not everybody does, because it's inspiring conversation. It's getting people talking, and I thought that was interesting.
Very good. Yeah.
It's what I would call a water cooler moment for Joe Hendry. If he does something in Impact where it's like when we first saw Broken Matt Hardy, a lot of people really, really hated it. And after a while, people was like, oh, is trying something completely out of the box, and then people started to work around and really enjoy that character. I think Joe Hendry is probably going to get to that point. But going back to what you were saying with the QR code stuff, for me, that sort of media viral marketing would have been a better end to the SmackDown hacker.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that would have been, if Triple H had been head of creative then, that would have been, I think, a better way to go. You've got a guy hacking SmackDown, then hacking Monday Night Raw, leaving QR codes about, and that would have obviously linked in. Tech guy, QR code, very technical related.
Exactly.
And
we'd have probably seen Mustafa Ali be a world champion by now as well. That would have gone down that way.
Yeah. Anyway, and I think that's what I was sort of saying about the way of putting QR codes in. It's actually quite a lazy storytelling device of getting people into that rabbit hole. And they could have thought another way. I think the marketing campaign has been brilliant, but that's not to say that there's ways they can improve it in the future. So we'll see.
Yeah, very much so.
So I've got a quick question to throw it to both of yourselves then. If it isn't a QR code, how would you have wanted to see Bray Wyatt be reintroduced?
I think you could do it with symbols. Symbolism would have been much better. The QR codes have then led to symbolism, but seeing random words written in red as a symbol in the back, which then takes you to the link, which then all the stuff that your QR stuff was leading you to, it can be exactly the same. It's just about how you deliver that link to the audience.
The initial point of it,
would have been way better for a Wyatt character.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting point. I think that it's brought a new element to the Bray character, I guess, because most people would have wanted or would have expected maybe the return to Swamp Bray, and maybe the easiest thing would have gone, oh, Braun Strowman's back, so the Wyatt family's going to reform, and that would have been and people were already going, I think, just before the QR codes or around the same time. Karrion Kross was already back. So they were going, oh, Karrion Kross is replacing Luke Harper and the Wyatt family. The three, Karrion Kross has come first, then Braun Strowman. So naturally we're getting the new Wyatt family. And I think a lot of people wanted that. And I wouldn't have been, as a fan, I wouldn't have been averse to that. But it's interesting that they have taken the time to, and it's a good sign that they have taken the time to do this. And again, create a new character, give somebody, because we don't know if we're getting the Fiend, but we're probably not. We don't know if we're getting Funhouse Bray, but we're probably not. And we don't know if we're getting Cult Leader Bray, but we're probably not. So I think that, I think if you asked me as a fan before all these QR codes, I would have preferred to see, three faces of Foley and him use, the Fiend sparingly as a Cactus Jack, and then Bray Wyatt Swamp Leader be Mankind, and Funhouse Bray be You Dude Love, and that's how I would have done it. But then that's not as exciting to me or to anybody else probably as what we are potentially going to get at the end of these QR codes.
I don't think it's as I don't think the Faces of Foley story is as deep as what we need from Bray Wyatt. I think the three Faces of Foley, while you can point out elements where it was used really well, it was also a kind of throwaway gimmick in terms of if you was doing a house show, you bring out Dude Love because it was fun, right? If you wanted to have a fun storyline, you bring out Dude Love. It wasn't as serious as we take Bray Wyatt and he takes himself. And so the Three Faces of Foley was actually almost a comedy gimmick when it was used in back and forth. And there's a couple of examples where you can say it's not, but it kind of was. And we lose sight of that because we love all the characters individually.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
we've obviously gone
the Bray Wyatt tangent, but yeah, let's do the comments.
Well, we'll see him on Sunday. That'll be fun.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
In the arena.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. I'm so excited.
Bailey wins, or not? If not, he's got the title. I was really surprised at your predictions, Dan. Really surprised, man. Yeah, I was really surprised.
I think I'm going out there Just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it.
Man, I can't. Man, if I win that belt, I'm coming straight over. 4 a.m.
You've got a chance, man. It's got to get to mine
Yeah.
first because I'm the champion at the moment.
No.
so-
Because if I win it and you
No,
still,
no.
you better get it.
No.
Go and get it.
Mate,
I am not having you take that belt if it's my belt. I'll be round at Dan's at 4:30 in the morning. You
Mate,
better believe it.
I'm not.
So-
I'm not an interim champion. You know, I am the champion.
Well, you are the champion, but you don't have the belt. So I'm sorry, but if I win on Saturday, I'll be having that belt before Sunday.
If you hold it from one pay-per-view to the next, is that not an interim champion?
No, I am the champion. There's
You
no
are
interim champion.
Anthony is a
I am
two-time
the
Give Me a Holiday
champion.
champion. Dan is a
Two-time,
one-time Give Me a Holiday
Two-time,
champion.
two-time,
I have not yet
two-time.
won it, but I am
You are
about
no
to win
time.
it.
You have a chance, man. All you've got to
I
do
do.
is Bianca to win. That's all.
Yeah.
And Dan to lose outright. But yeah. Right, cool. Liv Morgan retains. Chris Leclerc thinks.
Cool.
George Vandergriff says, I think we will win with a few shenanigans.
Agreed.
Becky's joined us all the way through as well. And quote of the year, just leave it, boy. Absolutely, George. Bailey wins the Raw. Just leave it, boy. Oh, shit, I've lost my pen. Bailey wins the Raw Women's Championship, says Chris. Chris agreeing with me on that one. Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. I'm almost, I think you could be right. If Bailey was gonna win, I would give it to her here. But I'm sticking with Bianca.
Cool. I just think there's more options going forward with Bailey at the minute, and I just don't know who else would take the title off Bianca without taking it off her at Mania.
It's
And
a very good point.
You don't want to take the title off her at Mania because she's won the last few. So, Bailey, virtual hug, says Becky. Look at you knowing your wrestling content. Well played. Hi there, guys, says Hassan. Hello, my dude. Lovely to see you.
Hey, mate.
Hi, Hassan. Look at you, sexy, beautiful people,
Bleepers.
says Dan.
Flippers.
Welcome, Dan from
Hey,
Pro
man.
Wrestling Eve. Hey, how you guys doing? We're doing great. Sorry, Hassan. We just try and keep it a bit more focused in these because if not, we just go on tangents all the time. Matt Riddle wins by knockout, says Chris Leclerc. That'd be cool.
I like that.
I'd like
Yeah.
that. I'd like that. Dan, how you doing? Karrion Kross wins. Oh, Chris thinking that Kross wins as well.
We all think
I
that
don't know.
Kross wins.
No, we don't. Dan thinks that Drew wins.
I've got Drew.
He's got Drew. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. Hi, Jonelle. Welcome to the channel, mate. Edge wins, says Chris. Oh, Chris agreeing with Dan there.
Oh.
He's got sense, that's why.
Becky says Dan's had the belt for a while now.
Yeah, why haven't you dropped it
hasn't.
off, Dan? You know, you're not the champion.
He just wants to hold on to it as long as possible.
Oh man,
I'm just holding it ransom.
I can almost touch it. I'm so excited.
You mean like that?
Yeah, like that. That's right, man. I think this could be my pay-per-view. Bray Wyatt returns. I win the title.
Wow, that would be big, wouldn't it, Dom? Big in the legacy of the belt. Becky said Dan had the... No, he's not the champion, though, love. I'm the champion. We just have...
No, I'm not.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Hey, sorry, I'm not feeling too well. Sorry, I'm late. Michael, rest up. Feel better soon, brother. I'll see you on Wednesday, my dude. And Dan will see you on Monday. And we will all see you for Extreme Rules on Saturday. I might be late, by the way. I hope you feel better soon. Michael says Becky. Chris said yes. Yes, nice, man. Thanks, Beck. Should do an arm wrestle for the belt if it's a draw. Oh, there we go. Good. Becky coming up with a solution. Dom, you down for an arm wrestle, mate?
Yeah, I'll do. I'm fine with that.
What happened last time you arm wrestled someone?
I can't remember, mate. Oh yeah.
What happened?
I pulled a muscle.
He pulled a muscle. So I don't think we'll be arm wrestling for the belt. We will. I'd rather have we're not that aggressive, are we, Dom?
Not really.
Could have a sword fight with your sticks.
We're more lovers than we are fighters, aren't we?
More lovers than we are fighters. Absolutely, we are on this podcast. Becky, stop encouraging me to fight my mate. Jacko Robinson says hi, hello, and welcome,
Hello,
Jacko.
mate.
How you doing, mate? The Rock versus Brock Lesnar Survivor Series 2022. I don't think we'll see Brock Lesnar back in WWE.
No.
Do you?
I think we'll see him back.
I think we'll see Brock. I don't think we'll see Rock until Mania.
No, I don't either. Brock, come on, man. Brock will come back for a large amount of money. You know, it might not be for another few months, but he'll be back.
Yeah, but do you think
He'll come back for a new cowboy hat.
Do you think Triple H should necessarily? Do you think Triple H needs him back?
He's very much a McMahon guy, isn't he?
That's what I mean. It felt like he went with McMahon. I can't see Triple H using him in a way that would make Brock happy.
No, but Crown Jewel money might make him come back.
True. I don't think we're going to get a run with him, though, like we have in the past.
No.
Interesting.
Michael's in bed right now. Michael, I'm imagining you in bed, and it's turning me on, mate. Tom Talks Robert says, "What is up, party people?" Tom Talks Robert's got a fantastic YouTube. He does wrestling interviews. He's done wrestling interviews with all us three. Check him out. Man's the best. Michael Pagnotta says, "I'm gonna go, guys. Not feeling well at all. I'll see you guys tomorrow." Michael,
Indeed.
we love you. We love you. Shane Loki's joined us. Hey, up, man. How are you doing? I just hope Bray returns at Extreme Rules. I miss him a lot. I think he is. In what capacity? We don't know.
So does he. He.
Dominic's going to jizz his pants when he comes out. It's going to be disgraceful. Do you know all the way through the pay-per-view, I'm going to be playing the same prank I played on him in...
Don't do it now.
Was it SummerSlam?
Was it SummerSlam?
SummerSlam, it was, wasn't it?
It was SummerSlam, you're right. Yeah, Jesus. It wasn't even that long ago. We need to turn that into a short, by the way, on YouTube. That'd be good. I really think that the White Rabbit will be Bray Wyatt. Word 789. Here's something that you mentioned that I didn't actually hit on. If it's not Bray Wyatt, WWE has absolutely led the fans on, and I think that's absolutely out of order. I think it's so out of order. I said they led us all on with Bray Wyatt for the SummerSlam thing, right? With the whole Edge garbage things that led up to nothing. They did it then, right? That was in Vince's thing, so let's give it a go. If they do it again, they're going to get a lot of backlash from the fans, and certainly a lot of backlash from me. I think it's awful that the company can do that. It's like taking the piss out of your fans. It really is. You know what I mean? Oh, you guys thought this? That was a Vince McMahon thing that he did, and he absolutely knew what he was doing with the Edge thing. This would be shocking if he did it.
Yeah.
Shane says, "I just hope the QR codes end soon. They are cool, but you have to have the reveal sooner than later." Absolutely, and that's one of the things. That's why I was really interested to hear your story, Dan, of searching for the QR codes, because I've just been sort of getting the bits and pieces that I need to from sort of wrestling media, and I wonder how much of the audience are doing what you're doing, which is the way what you want to do, and how much of the audience is just sort of.
Let's do
reading up on it afterwards.
Yeah, let's do a shout out. Obviously there are some. How many channels have been built on Bray Wyatt fandom over the last 6 months? You've got C Wrestling, who does great work. Of course, the Insiders, who we interviewed on the channel. The Wrestling Wizard, who we also interviewed. Obviously, I've done a couple of channel spotlights with people that have been really pushing Bray Wyatt, and even the Botch guy, who's been doing great work spotting stuff the last few weeks on Raws and things. And people, so he's got the whole world. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world fascinated. Even people that aren't, I wouldn't have said the Botch guy was a huge Bray fan. Obviously, the other examples, their channels are pretty much built on Bray. But it's fantastic to see how many people have been invested in finding these clues and creating content based on the lore of Bray Wyatt and the lore of this new White Rabbit, I guess. Indeed, absolutely, and that's what I really do wonder because I can't imagine it'd be more than 5% of people. Don't forget, we're people that watch like wrestling on YouTube and reviews and stuff like this. That's not most of the wrestling audience. Most of the wrestling audience are a casual audience who put it on because they put it on every Monday. How many of them have been engaged with this sort of QR code? I don't think the only people that know be WWE based on their numbers, the throughput of the QR codes. But I reckon out of the 2 million people watching Raw, I reckon them websites are getting about 5,000 hits. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but you can view. I can view all the content without touching a QR code. That'd be we're never going to find out that number, but that'd be a really interesting number to find out. I bet there'll be somebody here or somebody. If you want to go and do that homework for us, feel free, because I would be interested. Well, it'll be the website hits that you need to. Can you find out that information like without owning the website? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Can you? I'm trying to think of. I think. Hang on. There is a website that does it's traffic aggregator. There's a traffic. I'll try and figure it out. I'd have to spend loads of time typing
Dom, that's a really that would be honestly something that you could do. That would be really fascinating to find out the amount of audience that is engaging directly with that, and the amount of audience that's engaging with the sort of media and telling of it, which is what you're talking about, YouTube channels. Becky says the QR is a good idea. I agree. I don't think it would work if they did it for everyone. I guess with QR codes, it's just putting an easy way to get into the site for the little rabbit hole. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Damage Control is taking over WWE after Extreme Rules. I kind of hope so. I'm surprised I haven't got a tag match on the pre-show for the women's tag belts. That would have been good.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with Damage Control.
Very good. Daniel, hey up, mate. How you doing? Says, hi, lads. How you doing? Nice to see you. Excited for Wyatt's return, dude. I'm back, says Michael. Welcome back. Definitely going to get backlash if it's not Bray. It's all, in all honesty, I can't see anyone else as the White Rabbit.
Interesting.
We don't even know what the White Rabbit is yet. Because in the Attitude Era, you could definitely have had a diva called the White Rabbit, which had just been a Playboy bunny.
Yeah.
Swerve. Wrestling Days as well. Yeah, Wrestling Days has done a lot.
You see there, Michael, it's a conspiracy. I know Days has been in this chat when we've been doing Bray Wyatt stuff with the insiders, but I believe that See Wrestling and Wrestling Days are the same person. That's what I believe.
Little point.
What?
Go on, Dan.
I've just literally had a quick look on a website called SEMrush, which basically does domain viewing and organic traffic for the QR code last night. Organic traffic is saying that QR code has been viewed about 14.4 million times.
Wow.
But that is possibly people putting the link to it through Twitter and people clicking on that link. It's not direct scanning of that link. So you're not getting the official traffic of the QR code being scanned.
And then is it individual? Is that individual IP addresses, or is that like could that be the same person?
Looking at it, that is individual IP addresses.
Because the thing is, if you look at the YouTube videos, they don't even get them numbers. So I don't see how that could be. What was the latest like QR code on this last night's Raw?
So that's the one that had the binary code, which is the link that I just searched on the website.
What segment? That's what we're saying. It was the Alexa Bliss segment, wasn't it?
Yeah, the backstage segment. There was another QR code later on in the show with the Bayley and Bianca contract signing on the back of a clipboard, but I don't think anyone seemed to get a copy of that QR code because there was always a ring rope. So Corey Graves was holding it like that, but there was the QR code in the center, but the ring rope was going across the top line of that QR code. So I don't think anyone was able to open it.
Interestingly, so you said it was 14.1 million, but the place where you'd get it from in terms of the YouTube, if you was to actually engage with this yourself, has only got 140,000 views, which is Damage Control, Ambushes, Aspen, Alexa on WWE.
But like I said, I mean, if you put the hyperlink on your Twitter page and say, show the QR code and then the link underneath, that will still generate clicks.
Of course it will, yeah.
That are not coming from the
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Technical source, really. So again, 14 million isn't an accurate number of people engaging with it live on TV. It's all of the third-party traffic that's leading back from that same place.
Well, I suppose it's all good for WWE. It's all exposure, so that's all that's important. Chris Leclerc said, "What was seen at the end of Raw when Damage Control destroyed Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss was the reason why Bayley wins at the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules on Saturday." Well, let's hope so, Dom.
What, that Bayley wins? No, let's not. Let's not hope so. Let's hope Bianca wins so that I can take the title and become the new Jimmy O'Hollier World Champion.
I do kind of hope that that Bayley wins, and then like at the end of the night, like we get the lights go out, and standing on the stage is I don't know, Dross or something like that.
Who?
An old boy band. Or Vomit guy. What's his name?
Yeah, that was Droz.
That was Dross. There we go. Yeah, Dross is just
Yeah.
standing there vomiting. That'd be great.
I mean, there's lots of things wrong with that, but we'll let that pass by. Many things.
In my
wrong with
opinion,
that
I
statement.
don't think Bray Wyatt is good. I think he's bad. Well, that's absolutely an opinion you're entitled to, Daniel.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I've got issues with Bray Wyatt. Dom's a massive fan of Bray Wyatt, and we're always able to have conversations and always see each other's perspective on it because that's what we try and do on this channel. So you are, whether you love
You're
Bray
never
Wyatt,
wrong in your opinion.
absolutely not. Absolutely.
Apart from
not.
you're thinking Liv Morgan isn't a good wrestler.
Yeah, and also you are wrong about Bray Wyatt. But anyway, there we go.
Why? What am I wrong about Bray Wyatt with?
No, Daniel is wrong about Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
For me.
okay. You're not
Which
wrong,
part?
Daniel. It's your opinion, and I agree with you. But yeah, which part? Yeah. Backlash, lol. I think Bray returns. I believe he will go after the Judgment Day and show them what fear really is. Shane, man.
Interesting, yeah.
That's a
Could be
great
good.
tagline, isn't it? It's a great tagline. For Dom's sake, please have Bray Wyatt be the right Rabbit. Yeah, absolutely. Dom, it's going to be a funny moment on stream, guys. You're just going to see, we're just going to be sat here, and Dom's stream is just going to go white because there's going to be
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm, yeah. Just dripping from the top of the screen as Dom slowly fades out to a blackout. Yeah, cool. It's going to be good. Alexa Bliss 10 on Bianca Belair and help Bayley win the Raw Women's Championship. Chris, I like it, man. I like it. I'm down with it, Chris. Chris has got some good views, man. Bayley should definitely win the match.
Omega.
Jack has Punk. Dom has Bray. Sassy has Mox. I have Danielson. Dan has Liv. Who does Ant have?
It's Omega, isn't it?
Hikaru Shida.
I like. I'm a lot more objective than everyone else. I kind of take it as it goes and just review.
You
it
like
as
Kenny
it goes.
Omega? You love Kenny Omega.
I like Kenny Omega, but I'll also say he's garbage as well at times. When he's garbage, as opposed to people that won't say that about Bray. Tony Storm as well, big Tony Storm fan. Kurishida, Kenny Omega. Yeah, there's a few. Penta Oscuro and Rey Fénix, banging.
Yeah,
You're just an AEW mark, aren't you?
They've got all the best wrestlers. Hang on. Yeah, I think that is true now.
they haven't got the PWI #1 though, so they can't have all of the best wrestlers.
PWI #1. What? And who's that? Roman.
Yeah,
No,
he is #1.
I genuinely think that WWE has some of the best wrestlers in the world. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. Are you
Kevin
kidding me?
Owens.
These guys, Kevin Owens, Kevin
Sami
Steen,
Zayn.
yeah. Sami
doing
Zayn,
well.
yeah. Who should take the belt off Roman, by the way, with the story they're telling?
I like that. I do like
Is he
that.
a
To be
heel?
fair,
Yep.
Is he a heel?
Tweener now,
He's
Sami
a
Zayn.
tweener.
I
Between
don't know.
now, isn't he?
He's been a bit heel towards Jey Uso, who's the
Jey
good
Uso
guy
has
in
been
this.
the heel.
Yeah, Uso's been
No,
a
No,
heel,
but
yeah.
he's not though, because Sami Zayn's the guy that's infiltrated the group, and Jey Uso's the only guy that knows that he's the bad guy if he's gonna be the one. So in theory, by that turnaround,
It's a
Jey
double
Uso
turn.
is the face in that situation, even though he's acting and people are treating him like the heel.
Yeah,
Very interesting. It's very good what they're doing. You can tell someone actually
better
cares. about
storyline than AEW anyway.
Absolutely.
Brawl out.
Yeah.
Brawl out. Bayley has not held a title since 2020. Yeah, so I think it's a good time to do it. I think it's and I think Dom agrees it'd be a good time to do it. It just
I do.
obviously isn't.
I do.
Yeah.
I just want that. I want that belt.
Yeah, which is fair enough. So you'll be devastated if Bayley wins the title. And I will have Jizz all over. I won't have Jizz all over my screen because I haven't won it the other 2 times that I've won the title, and the multiple retains I've had.
When are you going to get that belt then? Because you should have had it by now. You should have gone round to get it. Why haven't you gone round to get it?
Because I'm not getting on a bus, and I'm busy at work all the bloody time.
See, I'd
When
be
I'm-
a proud chap. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at Dan's door 20 minutes after the pay-per-view to get the belt.
I'll be asleep.
You could be asleep. I'll wake you up. I'll wake you up to get that belt.
Because I've held the belt for the most amount of time on this podcast. It gets a little boring after a while.
You have, you know.
I have.
Dan might have held it for the longest time.
No, when did we start it? Was it WrestleMania?
It might have been for WrestleMania, mightn't it? Yeah.
I had it WrestleMania to some. Was it SummerSlam you won it, Dan?
No, I won it Money in the Bank, I think.
Oh,
I'll have
yeah,
to go back. I'll have to go back and look. So yeah, Money Back. I think Dan's the longest reigning Give Me a Whole Year champion.
But I have had it for the last month as well.
I think overall...
It doesn't count. It's a new reign. It's a new reign
Ant has held it longer overall, but I've had the longest single reign.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. Yours is a new reign now, Anthony. It's a new reign, so you've held it for a month.
A reign of terror, holding it over the Give Me a Whole Year podcast. That is what I do. We're talking absolute shite, so let's get through these comments. And we've got through the... Oh, right, no, we haven't. Guys, if you've got any questions, ask them in now, because we are ending this ASAP. I like Roman Reigns. It's great and all. It's time for a new champ. Absolutely, baby.
You talk about Mace, Marseille. I actually really like Mace. I think he's great. I think he's... what was his gimmick before Marseille, before he joined the Judgment, before he joined Dion. No, I know what you mean.
No.
Dio Madden.
Dio Madden.
Yeah.
Dio Madden's a talent, man. He's a talented dude. They were going to position him for a Brock Lesnar feud for ages, and he went on commentary. He's a talented guy. I think there's a lot to be done with him.
If Triple does it right, this could be one of the most memorable Extreme Rules in a long time.
I agree. I think the gimmick matches are a stroke of genius. I think
the card looks great.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at last year's, they only had one stipulation in the full card.
Yeah.
It was all singles matches or tag matches, which was not an Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Yeah. The only thing I wish I'd change about the card is I'd probably get rid of Liv and Ronda, because God, that's going to be awful. The only other match I think I'd love to see right now is Miz and Dexter Morgan.
Dexter Loomis.
Loomis.
Hang on. I think I'm sure Gargano in theory was being teased.
It's being teased, but nothing's been made official, so we've just...
Now that, I want to see that. Gargano in theory. Loomis and Miz as well. Why not add that? It's not necessary. I think they could do 2 more matches. They could do with 2 more matches on that card, I think.
No.
Clash at the Castle had 5 matches, and it was really well done because you had time in the matches. You only want 5 or 6 matches, which is the right thing to do. However, the Loomis and Miz, the reason I say that is because that works with an extreme stipulation, does it not?
Yeah, they've built it up long enough.
Yeah.
Where you could have, even if it is just a basic Falls Count Anywhere match.
Or House of Horrors match, or anything you could do.
House of Horrors they could do, because Miz did the zombies, didn't he? And Dexter Loomis did House of Horrors in NXT. Yeah, that would work.
So like, all I'm saying is I'm surprised that that's not on the card. That the Gargano and Theory one, they don't need an Extreme Rules. They don't need that sort of stipulation, I'd say. Yeah. Cool. Let's see what Michael has to say. He says, lol, for real. If anyone to end Roman's streak, I will pick Cody. Let's go across the team.
Yeah.
Who do you pick, Dom?
Cody.
Dan, who do you pick? I pick
Cody all day long.
I pick
Sami Zayn.
Gunter. It's all Sami Zayn. Yeah, Sami Zayn is great. Don't give it to Cody. He doesn't need it. Michael's got to go. Have a great day.
What do you mean? You mean never give it to Cody?
Yeah, give it to Cody eventually, but this streak, Cody doesn't need it. This is one of the biggest streaks in wrestling for a long time. This is nearly as big as someone kicking out of Kenny Omega's One Winged Angel. They've built this up right. They've done something right. You give it to someone that you want to make a star, and Cody's already a star.
Yeah, interesting point. Yeah.
Gunter isn't a star yet.
He's a lovely man, though.
But he could be.
A lovely dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I'd rather give it to Zayn than I would Gunter. Yeah, I think Gunter should be a champion down the line. Okay. But Zayn would be a huge surprise.
Yeah, I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are taking them tag titles off the Usos.
Now that is also a good bit of booking there,
yeah.
Full of it.
Cool.
Guys, it's been great to have you all on. Have you got anything else to say before we go?
No, I'm good, man. I think that's good. I'll see. We've got lots to promote. We've got a busy week. If anybody wants to go back and watch Raw, Dan did Raw last night. This is our work. I think this is the fullest week we've ever had on the podcast. Wednesday, you'll be able to see Anthony covering AEW. On Thursday, I will be covering the stream of the 1PW event that just took place in Doncaster, at the Doncaster Dome, which features Rob Van Dam and lots of other talent.
1PW Martinez and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, 1PW, New Twist of Fate. I'll be covering that, which will be on Fight on Thursday.
Nice.
Friday, what's happening Friday? Impact Wrestling is happening on Friday. Impact Wrestling is Bound for Glory, where Joe Hendry confirmed to me yesterday he will be appearing in some capacity. There's also Bobby Fish is now a part of Impact Wrestling. He will be in the there's like a challenge for the title, like a pack match where they all challenge for the title, like I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be good.
Six-pack challenge.
And Saturday we will be back for Extreme Rules. I believe all three of us are going to be here for Extreme Rules, so you'll see us again on Saturday. Yeah,
that's awesome, guys. If you've enjoyed the podcast, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and consider becoming a member of the channel. We have new membership perks.
Yeah.
We've got our first member as well. Sassy is already a member of the channel. She gets an awesome emoji, the name. She gets some emojis that she can use herself, and she also gets some video streams. It's just going to be us three and her, by the looks of it, if no one else joins. So don't let Sassy be by herself and have us all harass her. Join the membership team. Don't leave Sassy by herself.
Do it. Yeah.
Do it. Yeah.
Do it, yeah.
Dan, sign us out.
Ready?
Dan,
Is everyone
out.
ready? We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! Who's doing the thing? Who's pressing the thing? Shall I
do it.
press the thing, or you guys pressing the thing?
No,
Who's
I'll
doing
do
it?
This is Big E from the New Day. Give me that, oh yeah. Give it to me. I need it.